So imagine this for a second. You suddenly get a life-changing amount of money. The kind of money you think is going to solve every single one of your problems. But what if it just creates a whole new set of them? Today, we're going to break down the incredible story of one person's journey from just scraping by to a massive windfall, and the absolute flood of questions that came right along with it.
You know, this one sentence right here, posted on a personal finance forum, just perfectly captures that emotional roller coaster. It's that thrill of relief mixed with this very real, very heavy fear of messing it all up. This isn't just about the numbers on a screen. It's about trying to navigate a completely new reality. So, what kind of number are we actually talking about here?
$1.6 million. After a life-altering accident led to a lawsuit, this is the amount that our storyteller walked away with after all the fees. Now, for someone who had never, ever seen this kind of money, it was both a blessing and, honestly, a terrifying burden.
Okay, so to really get the weight of this whole situation, we have to understand the person who's right at the center of it all, because their background is really what makes this story so compelling.
Look, this is not someone who grew up learning about trusts and investments. We're talking about a first-generation American, a single mother of 3 kids, who's been completely on her own financially since she was a teenager. On top of all that, she's a scholarship student at a top university, living in one of the most expensive cities in the country. She is used to fighting for every single dollar. This context is absolutely crucial because it frames every single piece of advice that's about to come her way.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that the very first, the most upvoted, and the most urgent piece of advice from the online community had absolutely nothing to do with investing or saving or finding a financial advisor. Nope, it was something much more fundamental.
In big, bold, digital letters, the message could not have been clearer. Silence is your single greatest asset right now. The community warned her that people, friends, family, you name it, would come crawling out of the woodwork, that relationships could be destroyed, and that the money could literally vanish before a single smart decision was even made.
In our protagonist, well, she knew this all too well. This quote right here, this is the gut punch. It's the powerful, personal reason why that rule of silence was so critical. She had already lost tens of thousands of dollars to her family from a small nanny's salary. So this windfall wasn't just money, it was her one shot at security, and she needed to protect it at all costs. So with that immediate threat handled, the advice kind of shifted from defense to preparing for offense. The overwhelming consensus from everyone was to not rush into a single thing. Essentially, this 4-step plan started to take shape in the comments. Step 1. Protect the money first. Don't get fancy, don't try to grow it immediately, just put it somewhere safe, like a high-yield savings account. Then, step 2. Just breathe. Take a few months, maybe even a whole year, to just learn. And finally, after you get educated, then you can decide if you need professional help. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And all this reading led to the big question she eventually asked. Okay, should I learn to do all this myself, or should I just hire a financial advisor? And as you can see, each path has some pretty clear pros and cons. The do-it-yourself route gives you total control and lower fees, but it takes a massive investment of your time. An advisor, on the other hand, offers expertise and saves you that time, but it comes at a cost. The community was kind of split, but they all agreed on one thing. No matter which path you choose, you have to get that baseline of self-education in first.
All right, so after protecting the money and getting educated, the question becomes, what do you actually do with the $1.6 million to make sure it lasts? This is where we get into the real core of the community's financial advice. So many people pointed her towards this Bogleheads philosophy, which is named after the legendary Vanguard founder Jack Bogle. And the idea is actually pretty simple. Don't try to beat the market, don't try to pick the next hot stock. Instead, just own a little slice of the whole market through these low-cost index funds and then just hold on. It's all about slow, steady, and reliable growth.
One user got super specific and suggested a classic Bogleheads approach called the 3-fund portfolio. This strategy is loved for its just beautiful simplicity. I mean, with just 3 funds, you can get broad diversification across the entire global market, balancing that potential for growth from stocks with the stability you get from bonds. And this is a great illustration of what that could actually look like. A user suggested this exact 50-20-30 split. So 50% in a US stock fund, 20% in an international stock fund to get that global exposure, and then 30% in a US bond fund to act as a stable cushion when the stock market gets all volatile.
But of course, other people chimed in with even simpler ideas.
One person suggested just a two-fund portfolio, a classic 60-40 split between VOO, which tracks the 500 biggest companies in the US, and SGOV, which is a super safe treasury bond fund. The main point of all these different suggestions was exactly the same. Keep it simple, keep your costs low, and stay diversified.
So here's the crucial point. All of this advice, all the wikis, the tickers, the percentages, it's all in service of something much more human, something that can easily get lost in all the financial jargon.
This is what it was all about. It was never about getting rich. It was about escaping the crushing day-to-day anxiety of poverty. It was about the freedom to just buy groceries without crying. This quote connects every single piece of that financial strategy back to a powerful, deeply personal why.
So, if we boil down this incredible crowdsourced financial plan, it really comes down to this. First, protect your money by keeping it private. Second, slow down and actually learn this stuff before you do anything. Third, embrace simplicity. You don't need some complex strategy. And maybe most important of all, never ever forget what the money is actually for: your own peace of mind and your family's security.
And that just leaves us with a final thought. If you were in this exact situation, faced with a life-changing amount of money and a world of possibilities, what would be the very first thing you'd do? It's a question that's definitely worth thinking about.